Hello everyone and welcome to our presentation. Today we will be going on a global educational journey to explore about benchmarking and best practices in higher education through international comparisons. Benchmarking is an important process that helps universities learn from successful institutions in order to improve quality, performance, and also competitiveness. Throughout this video, we will travel across different higher education systems around the world to understand how universities achieve excellent and continuous improvement. We will also discuss on what Malaysia can learn from these global practices. Before our journey starts, let's meet our group's member. First, me, Yap Ihan as leader in group, and we got Alice Yu Lo Yun and also Abdul Jalil bin Jumari. Before we begin traveling across different higher education systems, let us first look at the learning objective for today's presentation. By the end of this presentation, we should be able to understand the concept of benchmarking in higher education. We will also explain why benchmarking is important for university quality improvement and continuous development. In addition, we will explore key features and best practices used by universities around the world. We will identify the characteristics of world-class universities and apply benchmarking insights using real examples. Now that we understand the direction of our journey, let us first understand what benchmarking actually means. Benchmarking refers to a methodical and ongoing process of evaluating performance, processes, and outcomes against leading institutions or established standards. In higher education, benchmarking involves comparing a university's performance, practices, and outcomes with other institutions either locally or internationally. The purpose is to identify the strengths, gaps, and the areas for improvement. It is also important to understand that benchmarking is a continuous strategic process rather than a one-time activity. There are several key focus areas in benchmarking. These include academic quality and curriculum standards, students' outcomes and engagement, faculty performance and research innovation, as well as administrative efficiency and global partnership. In simple terms, benchmarking means learning from successful institutions in order to improve institutional quality and effectiveness. However, benchmarking is not about copying another university completely. Instead, institutions study best practices and adapt them according to their own context and goals. Now that we understand what benchmarking is, the next question is, why is benchmarking so important in higher education? Benchmarking is important because it provides universities with a clear roadmap for growth and improvement. By studying global best practices, institutions can identify effective strategies and adapt them to their own educational systems. Benchmarking also helps enhance a university's global reputation by improving measurable performance indicators such as research quality, student outcomes, and graduate employability. Another important benefit is that benchmarking promotes a culture of continuous improvement. It encourages universities to regularly evaluate their performance and remain open to innovation and change. In addition, benchmarking strengthens stakeholders' credibility. When benchmarking is combined with accreditation process, it helps build trust among students, faculty members, employers, and international partners. In today's globalized education environment, universities cannot remain isolated. They must continuously learn, adapt, and innovate in order to stay competitive. Okay, let's pause for a quick check. Which of the following best describes benchmarking? A. Copying top universities. B. Following government rules only. C. Comparing and adapting best practices. The answer is C. Comparing and adapting best practices. So now let us officially begin our world journey by traveling to one of the most influential higher education systems in the world, the United States.
The United States higher education system is widely recognized for innovation, competition, and institutional autonomy. One key feature of the US system is decentralized excellence. This means that unlike many other countries, the United States does not have a single national quality control body. Instead, universities operate with a high level of autonomy while quality assurance is managed through regional accreditation bodies. This decentralized structure gives university greater flexibility to manage academic programs, research activities, and institutional development according to their own missions and priorities. At the same time, regional accreditation bodies help maintain educational quality and institutional accountability. So, the US system combines institutional independence with external quality assurance. Now that we have explored the key features of the US higher education system, let us look at some of its best practices. Now, let us look at some best practices within the US higher education system. One important best practice is the accreditation system. Regional accreditation helps ensure that universities meet minimum academic and institutional standards. In addition, specialized accreditation is used for specific professional programs. For example, engineering programs are accredited by ABET, while business schools are accredited by AACSB. These accreditation systems help ensure that academic programs meet international and professional standards. Another important best practice is strong internal quality enhancement. Universities regularly conduct academic program reviews, involve external peer reviewers, and continuously improve their curriculum. Competition is also a major characteristic of the US higher education system. Universities compete for research funding, talents, faculty members, and high achieving students. As a result, institutions continuously benchmark themselves against leading universities using research metrics, global rankings, and student satisfaction indicators. In addition, American universities invest heavily in teaching and learning support. This includes faculty development programs, teaching and learning centers, and training in innovative pedagogical approach. Another best practice is data-driven decision making. Institutions collect and analyze data related to student learning outcomes, teaching effectiveness, research performance, and student satisfaction. This information is then used to guide strategic planning and institutional improvement. One university that strongly represents these best practices is the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT. Now, let us make a stop at one of the world's most influential universities, the MIT. MIT is recognized as a premier doctoral university with one of the highest level of research activity in the world. The university is widely used as a benchmark for innovation, technology transfer, and industry collaboration. One of the MIT's strongest practice is its ability to transform research into practical real-world solutions through close collaboration with industries and government agencies. MIT is also recognized as a sustainability standard setter. For example, the university partnered with the state of Massachusetts to develop campus sustainability best practices. In addition, MIT consistently demonstrates strong global scientific influence through high-impact research publications and innovation. What makes MIT especially successful is its ability to combine academic excellence, research productivity, innovation, and practical application. This example shows that world-class universities are not only focused on rankings, but also on creating meaningful impact on society and global development. Now that we have explored the best practices in US higher education system, let's identify one of its key strengths. Which of the following is a key strength of the US system? A. Centralized control. B. High autonomy and external accreditation. C. Standardized national curriculum. You're right. The answer is B. High autonomy and external accreditation. Now that we have explored the innovation-driven American higher education system, let us continue our educational journey by traveling to the United Kingdom.
Let's move to the United Kingdom. Compared to the United States, the UK system places stronger emphasis on structured accountability and centralized quality assurance. The quality assurance system is mainly overseen by the Quality Assurance Agency, also known as the QAA. So this system helps ensure consistency in academic standards across universities. The UK also use national qualifications frameworks to maintain their clear educational standards. One important feature is transparency. Universities regularly undergo reviews and audits to ensure equality and accountability. This creates greater public trust in higher education institutions. Another key strength of the UK system is the balance between academic traditions and modern quality assurance practice. Now, let's look at one of the most prestigious universities in UK, the University of Oxford. Now, we arrive at the University of Oxford. Oxford is one of the oldest and most respected university in the world. The university is known for strong governance, academic excellence, and rigorous quality assurance systems. One important practice in the UK system is the external examiner system. This means independent academic from other universities review regarding grading standards to ensure fairness and consistency. Oxford also emphasizes students' involvement in quality assurance through regular feedback and evaluations. Its global reputation demonstrates how strong governance and continuous review can support long-term institutional excellence. After exploring the UK systems, let's continue our journey to Europe and Australia, where structures, frameworks, and flexibility are carefully balanced. Before we continue, let's test your understanding in United Kingdom system benchmarking. The question is, who oversees the quality assurance system in the UK? A. QAA, B. NASA, C. UNESCO. The answer for this question is A. QAA. Let's continue our journey. Now, let's travel to Europe and Australia. These regions provide another interesting benchmarking model. Unlike the highly decentralized US systems or the centralized UK system, Europe and Australia combine strong regulations with institutional flexibility. In Europe, the Bologna process played an important role in standardizing degree structures across countries. This made international student mobility and qualifications recognition much easier. Meanwhile, Australia's quality assurance system is managed through the Tertiary Education Quality and Standard Agency or TEXA. Both systems emphasize strong regulatory frameworks while still allowing universities to innovate and develop independently. Another important feature is cross-national comparability, which supports international collaborations and global recognition. One major best practice in Europe and Australia is the strong focus on outcome-based education or OBE. This means universities focus not only on teaching content but also on what students are actually able to achieve after learning. Continuous improvement is also a mandatory part of accreditation process. Universities regularly review and improve their curriculum, teaching methods, and assessment systems. International peer review panels are also commonly used to strengthen benchmarking and quality assurance. Another important practice is the close alignment between higher education and labor market needs. This helps ensure graduates develop skills that are relevant to industry and future employment. As higher education becomes more globalized, universities around the world are increasingly adopting shared international practice. So now, let's explore this global best practice before moving into Asia. Before we continue our journey, let's test your understandings in Australia and Europe system benchmarking. The question is, what approach is commonly used in Australia and Europe universities? A. No student assessments. B. No accreditation systems. And C. Outcome-based education system OBE. The answer is C. Outcome-based educations OBE. Let's continue our journey. Across different countries and systems, we can observe several commonly global best practices. One important trend is internationalization. Universities now encourage international students' mobility, staff exchange programs, and global research collaborations. Another growing practice is industry-linked curriculum design. Many industries work closely with companies and industries to ensure students develop practical and employable skills. Digital and blended learning strategies have also become increasingly important, especially after the global pandemic. Overall, higher education institutions are becoming more interconnected globally. And now, let's continue our educational journey by traveling to Asia, where many universities have successfully adapted global best practice into their own systems. Before entering Asia, it is important to discuss the role of global rankings in benchmarking. Global rankings such as QS, Times Higher Education, and RU are widely used as international benchmarking tools. These rankings measure indicators such as research output, citations, academic reputations, and internationalizations. Many universities use ranking performance to guide institutional strategies and global positioning. However, rankings also have limitations. They often focus heavily on research performance while giving less attention to teaching quality, student well-being, and local community impact. Despite these limitations, ranking continue to strongly influence higher education policy and benchmarking practice worldwide. Now, let's move to Asia and see how these universities strategically use these benchmarking systems.
First, let's look at China University. China has invested heavily in higher education development through strong national education initiative and also long-term strategy planning. One of the important examples is the Double First Class University Plan, which aim to develop globally competitive universities and also academic disciplines. As a result, universities such as Tsinghua University have become internationally recognized for excellence in engineering, AI, and also STEM research. Tsinghua University also focus strongly on research and development, supported by their major government investment and also international collaborations. For another important point is that Chinese university actively use global rankings such as QS and also Times Higher Education as benchmarking tools. However, China does not simply imitate Western universities. Instead, the country combines centralized national strategy with increasing institutional flexibility. This approach allows university to maintain national priorities while still can compete globally. Now let's move to Singapore. Singapore provides another powerful example of how benchmarking can be strategically adapted. The National University of Singapore, also known as the US, is consistently ranked among the top universities globally. One of the major strengths of NUS is its strong focus on graduate employability and also industry collaboration. The university works closely with the company such as Google and Grab to ensure the students develop practical and industry-relevant skills. And NUS also combine Western quality assurance system with strong Asian government's infancy. Another important practice is internationalization. NUS actively recruit international faculty members and students while also expanding global research collaboration. This demonstrates that successful benchmarking is not about fully copying another system. Instead, it is about selective adaptation, strategic planning, and also continuous improvement based on the local needs. Before we continue our journey, let's pause for a short challenge and test our understanding. The question is, how do many Asian universities approach benchmarking? A. By fully copying Western university system. B. By rejecting international standards. C. By selectively adapting global best practices to local contexts. D. By focusing only on rankings. The correct answer is C. By selectively adapting global best practices to local contexts. Universities such as NUS and Chiang Mai University demonstrate that successful benchmarking involves adaptation rather than the imitation. They combine international standards with national prioritizers, cultural values, and also long-term development strategies. Excellent! Now, let's continue our educational journey by exploring what truly makes a university world-class. After traveling across different higher education systems, an important question occurs. That what actually makes a university world-class? World-class universities are not successful because for only one factor. Instead, their success comes from combining multiple strengths together. For example, the first characteristic is research excellence. Leading universities produce high-impact research, innovation, and also strong global academic influence. While the second characteristic is international reputation. World-class universities consistently perform well in global rankings and also attract talented students and faculty from around the world. Another important characteristic is high-quality teaching and learning. This university continuously improve curriculum quality, teaching strategy, and student support system. Finally, innovation and industry engagement are key characteristics. World-class universities actively collaborate with industries and transform the knowledge into practical real-world impact. For example, MIT is globally recognized for innovation and scientific research. Meanwhile, University of Oxford demonstrates strong governance and academic excellence, while the NUS is well known for graduate employability and global partnership, and also for Chiang Mai University, they demonstrate excellence in engineering and also AI research. These examples show that world-class universities continuously learn, adapt, and also improve through benchmarking. Let's compare the major characteristics of the higher education system that we have explored throughout this global educational journey. Although each region applies different approaches to higher education management and quality assurance, but every system offers valuable benchmarking insight and also best practices. For example, the United States strongly emphasizes innovation, institutional autonomy, research competitiveness, and also flexibility. These universities are encouraged to continuously innovate, compete globally, and also develop strong research cultures. In contrast, the United Kingdom focuses on more accountability, transparency, and also structured quality assurance through centralized monitoring system and also external evaluation. Meanwhile, for Europe and Australia, aim to balance strong regulatory framework with institutional flexibility. Their system places strong emphasis on outcome-based education, qualification comparability, and also continuous improvement process. For Asian countries, on the other hand, demonstrate the importance of strategic adaptation. Countries such as China and Singapore successfully adapt global best practices while aligning higher education development with national economy and policy goals. So from this comparison, we can clearly see that there is not a single perfect benchmarking model that fits every country or institution. Different systems prioritize different strengths depending on their educational philosophy, government structure, culture, and also national priorities. However, despite these differences, successful universities are often share several common characteristics. These include strong leadership, continuous improvement, innovation, international collaboration, and the ability to adapt effectively to changing global demands. This shows that successful benchmarking is not about choosing one system over another, but about learning strategically from different models and applying practices that best support institutional goals and also local needs. After completing this global educational journey, several important lessons can be identified. First, we can see that benchmarking is an important tool for continuous improvement in higher education. Second, universities learn from global best practice to improve quality, competitiveness, and also institutional performance. However, adaptation is more important than copying. Successful universities do not simply imitate others. Instead, they carefully adapt practices according to their own context, culture, and also goals. Well, another important takeaway is that strong governance and data-driven decision-making are essential for institutional success. In addition, research excellence, teaching quality, and also internationalization must work together. Most importantly, benchmarking evolved from comparison to adaptation and finally to transformation. Now that we have explored different higher education systems around the world, let's bring this educational journey back to Malaysia. Malaysia already has several important strengths within its higher education system. For example, the Malaysia Qualification Agency provides a strong national quality assurance framework that helps maintain academic standards and also institutional accountability. At the same time, outcome-based education, or OBE, has already been widely implemented across Malaysia University to strengthen student learning outcome and curriculum quality. In addition, universities such as University Malaya, University Putra Malaysia have achieved important international recognition and continue to improve their global positions. For instance, University Malaya has consistently appeared in global university ranking and is widely recognized for its research performance and also international collaborations. Meanwhile, University Putra Malaysia is well known for its strength in agriculture research, sustainability study, and also industry-related innovation. However, despite this achievement, several challenges still need to further attention. Compared to leading global universities, Malaysia's research citation impact and international research visibility remain relatively lower. This shows that Malaysian universities still need to strengthen high-impact research culture, international publication network, and also global academic collaboration. Well, another important challenge involves university and industry collaboration. Although partnership already exists, the connection between university and some industry can still be strengthened to better support innovation, graduate employability, and also practical skill development. For example, university can expand collaboration with industry through internship, joint research project, and also innovation hubs similar to the partnership seen between the NUS and also companies such as Google or Grab. In some situations, quality assurance process may also become too focused on compliance and documentation rather than continuous innovation and transformation. And as a result, benchmarking should move beyond simply meeting this standard. Instead, it should become a strategic tool for institutional growth, innovation, and also long-term competitiveness. Moving forward, Malaysia University can learn from successful Asian institutions such as the National University of Singapore by strengthening international collaboration, graduate employability system, research productivity, and also data-driven decision-making. For example, Malaysian University can improve graduate employability tracking system, expanding the international exchange programs, and also strengthening the discipline research collaboration with global institutions. At the same time, Malaysia should also continue maintaining its own educational value, national priorities, and also local relevance. This is important because successful benchmarking is not about becoming identical to another university system. Rather, it is about adapting global best practice in the way that support Malaysia's own educational development and future goals. Before we move to next parts, let's have another quick checkpoints. The question is, which factor is most important in making a university world-class? A. High ranking only. B. Large campus size. C. combination of research, innovation, teaching, and global collaboration. D. Strict examination only. The correct answer is C. World-class universities success because they combine multiple strengths such as research excellence, innovation, quality teaching, and also international engagement. Next, let's look at the recommendation. Based on our analysis throughout this presentation, several important recommendations can be proposed to strengthen higher education benchmarking and also institutional improvement. Firstly, universities should develop a hybrid benchmarking model that balances global ranking indicator with national education priorities and local institution needs. This is important because universities should not focus only on improving ranking, but also need to own producing meaningful educational outcomes that benefit society and also national development. Second, institutions should strengthen data-driven decision-making through learning analytics, student performance monitoring, and also graduate outcome tracking. For example, university can analyze graduate employability data, student satisfaction, and also academic performance trend to improve curriculum quality and institutional planning. Third, universities should continue expanding international collaboration through global research partnership, student exchange program, dual degree initiative, and also international academic network. For instance, many leading universities strengthen their global visibility through collaborative research projects and international publication partnership. Another important recommendation is to strengthen teaching innovation. Higher education institutions to continue improving data learning strategy, AI integration, and also modern pedagogy approach to meet future education demands. This became especially important after global pandemic, where digital transformation significantly changed the teaching and learning environment. At the same time, benchmarking in the future should not only focus on ranking and research output, universities should also pay greater attention to student experience, graduate employability, sustainability, digital readiness, and also social impact. Thus, effective benchmarking should support not only institutional competitiveness, but also long-term educational quality, innovation, and also sustainable development. As we conclude our global educational journey, we can clearly see that benchmarking is no longer just a technical quality ensuring progress, but in today, benchmarking has become a strategy tool for continuous improvement, institutional transformation, and also for global competitiveness in higher education. Throughout this video, we can explore different higher education systems across the world, and each system demonstrates different strengths, priorities, and also approach. However, one important lesson remains clear, which is there is not single best higher education system. Successful universities are those that continuously learn, adapt, and improve according to their own context, national priorities, and also future goals. Asia especially provides a strong example of adaptive benchmarking through strategic planning, innovation, and strong policy alignment. While for Malaysia, the future direction should move beyond competence-based quality assurance toward a more innovation-driven and globally connected higher education system. Most importantly, benchmarking is not about copying the best university completely. Instead, it is about learning from global best practice, adapting them wisely, and building stronger educational systems that fit our own local context and future needs. Finally, sustainable excellence in higher education depends on continuous learning, collaboration, innovation, and also adaptability. Before we conclude the video, let's have one final checkpoint to test your understanding. The question is, which statement best reflects effective benchmarking? A. Universities should copy top-ranked institutions completely. B. Rankings are the only indicator of quality. C. Benchmarking should be adapted to institutional and national context. D. Quality assurance only involves external audits. answer is C. Benchmarking should be adapted to institutional and national context. Throughout this video, we have seen that effective benchmarking is not about imitation or blindly following global rankings. Instead, successful universities learn from global best practices and adapt them according to their own educational goals, national priorities, and also institutional needs. Thank you very much for joining us on this global educational journey. We hope this video has provided meaningful insight into benchmarking and also best practices in higher education for you. Thank you for watching.